Hey guys, Wrestling Throwdown here. I'm Haley and I'm here alone tonight. Joe's doing his strike zone stuff, so I'm alone tonight. TNA wasn't even that great anyway, so I'll just talk about it. Talk about a few stuff though, especially a few wrestlers that are supposedly not re-signing their contract, and I'm going to talk more about that. So this review is mostly going to be about that stuff. I mean, because pretty much the whole show is just to find out the new #1 contender, because I'm pretty sure Austin Aries is going to pick the TNA World title. I don't know why he wouldn't pick. Why would he pick the X Division? That just wouldn't make sense to me. Okay, so I guess we'll start with now they did this whole show pretty much was called the Gold Rush Tournament, and pretty much they were going to have how many? 1, 2, 3. They have 5. Yeah, they had 5 matches. Okay, 5 matches. So they took the winner from each 5 matches and made a 5-man tournament thing, and so put the 5 people in the main event match, and whoever won that would get to choose a title match of their choosing. So they could choose tag team, X Division, the world, and that's pretty much that, because obviously there was no girls, so they wouldn't pick obviously the knockouts. So they had their pick between 3 titles, and obviously I would think if I would win, I would go for obviously the biggest title, even if it is Bobby Lashley. I would still be like, well, you know what, if I get a free title shot, I think I'm gonna obviously choose that. I mean, they would be stupid not to. Okay, so the first match of the tournament was MVP versus Loki. And it was interesting because at first I thought, because this was a tournament, like no out at ringside, so that wouldn't make sense. Kenny King was not on MVP's ringside. Thought that was a little bit weird. And he was kind of acting a little bit nicer in the beginning, so I was just like, is this a face turn, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, the way he acted near the end, though, he obviously is still a heel, but I actually would not be surprised. Sorry about that. I would actually not be surprised if he did turn face soon or in the near future, because it's like he's one of those guys where they just turn like 24/7, kind of like Big Show, how WWE just keeps flopping Big Show back and forth. Hopefully they stay a face of Big Show, because it's just kind of ridiculous if they would keep changing him. But MVP is kind of one of those guys where I could definitely see them turning him face, heel, face, heel, face, heel until they know what to do with him. It's anything to get the fans to like him, pretty much. But yeah, he won. But I did think that was weird that no Kenny King was out there. I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, MVP won the first match. Next, Robbie E versus Tajiri. Tajiri, I love Tajiri. He's so awesome. I wish WWE would have kept him. He's so crazy. And Tajiri actually wins. I actually thought Robbie E was going to win this. I was actually kind of happy when Tajiri won. I mean, Robbie E's okay. I kind of like him. He is kind of funny sometimes and entertaining, but he can get boring. But it's funny because he was talking backstage, and he was saying that he had Velvet Sky, and then he was going to have Brooke in his ringside. And I was just like, wait, Brooke? I'm just like, Brooketasmacker is actually still there? Like, I'm just like, I didn't even know. I thought she got released or something. Like, I was actually shocked. And she didn't even come out with him. Neither did Velvet Sky. So I don't know what the heck was up with that. But it looks like she's back. I'm not sure where she was. I guess she was doing pictures and stuff too, because they said the same thing about ODB. I actually got false information on this. Someone told me that I don't even talk to this good, but he told me that he read something and it said ODB got released. And obviously she's not released because, as you can see, I think it was near the end of the show, she was doing covers for the Knockouts calendar and obviously for pictures and stuff. So she's obviously still there. She's just doing other stuff. And it's funny too, because my website didn't say anything about that. So that's why I was kind of like weary. I was just like, my website didn't say it. My website's, I use a really good wrestling website, it's usually right 90 99% of the time. I'm not even over exaggerating. Like everything it usually says happens, and they update it daily. So if there's any last minute changes, obviously they say, and they never said anything about ODB getting released. So it was just like, yeah, it seems like Brooke's still there. So it was kind of interesting seeing that, because Gail Kim is another one that they're thinking about. She's not going to resign, and they've had this for a couple of people, you know, TNA. So I mean, obviously Gail Kim and Havoc are supposed to have their Knockouts title match next week. So Havoc's probably going to win. And so ODB, actually, that would be a really good match. ODB and Havoc. I can definitely see ODB beating Havoc, obviously, after Havoc has it for, you know, at least a few months, you know, and it's dominating everybody. I could definitely see ODB, you know, beating her for it. Little backstage thing with Spud. He's pretty much on the phone with EC3, and he's pretty much saying that there's no problems with him and EC3. And obviously, like I told you guys, I think it was last week or even the week before too, that EC3 and Spud look like they're gonna separate pretty soon. And I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen soon. And obviously EC3 was talking bad to him on the phone, because, you know, Spud's just like, don't talk to me like that. And then obviously Spud's kind of like the sweet guy who doesn't have a backbone and lets him, EC3 treat him bad. So he obviously said, okay, I'm sorry, you can talk to me however you want. So obviously I think EC3 is, or sorry, not EC3, Spud is going to blow up on EC3 one day and just say, I'm done, I'm not taking it anymore, and obviously walk out. When that's going to happen, I don't know, maybe soon, but it will happen eventually. I can definitely see it happening. Next, for the Gold Rush tournament, Austin Aries versus Knox. And Knox, like I said, the menagerie was with him, so at ringside. So obviously, why Kenny King was not with MVP, I have no idea. That was bizarre. Austin Aries actually won, which was surprising, because he was another one that I heard was not re-signing with TNA, and he actually he's supposed to be making an indies show appearance. I think it's like in a week or two or something, or was it this weekend or something? I don't know. It was sometime within the next few weeks that he's supposed to be making an appearance in an indie show, and that was the word, that he wasn't re-signing. So I was kind of shocked that they let him win this, and he actually won the whole thing. So I highly doubt he's going to beat Bobby Lashley. I haven't read spoilers, and I'm not going to spoil you guys anyways, but I haven't read spoilers, so I don't know if he does win, but I highly doubt he is going to win, because he just had a match with Bobby Lashley, like, what, 2 months ago when he lost? So I don't know, though. It could be a good one for Bound for Glory. Austin Aries versus Bobby Lashley. At least I think this is what it's going to be for Bound for Glory. So I'm guessing this is the match that they're going to make. And maybe that's why they made Austin Aries, because Austin Aries, like, their number one guy right now. Him and Bobby Roode are pretty much their two number one guys. So maybe Austin Aries is going to leave it after Bound for Glory, and then, you know, so he's just going to have one more match for the title. I do eventually see Bobby Roode winning this title, though. No matter, even if he lost last week, I do eventually see him, obviously, winning this title, because who else are they going to have? I mean, especially if Austin Aries is losing or leaving soon, I mean, and not signing. That's just a rumor, though, so I don't even know. He could re-sign, because my next guy did resign, and he was supposedly going to be gone. Like, he was not resigning for sure. He was done, and obviously he's still here. So, and I actually wouldn't mind this guy leaving. I know some people might like him, but Mr. Anderson, Magnus versus Mr. Anderson, obviously Anderson wins, which also pissed me off. Why are they treating Magnus so bad, Magnus? And they made him a paper champion. They made him look so weak when he had it. And I agreed that Magnus, I thought, was a little too young. I think they should have waited another year. This was kind of TNA's mistake on pushing a guy. You know how WWE's done that quite a few times with, you know, Jack Swagger too early, even though I love Jack Swagger. And they pushed The Miz too early. This is one of the guys that I think TNA really messed up on, was Magnus, because they pushed him too early, and I knew it was going to be a fail. I was just like, he's too young. He needs a little bit more work, especially on the talking. I'm like, he just no. And obviously now they're treating him like trash, and his tag team partner Bram is doing great. And that's another question. Why the hell was Bram not in this tournament? Bram has been on an undefeated streak. He's been beating Abyss. I think he beat Abyss like 3 or 4 times, and beat Samuel Shaw. He beat Gunner. You know, I'm like, why is he not in the tournament? Why? And then Magnus is all of a sudden, no, I like Magnus. I'm not saying, you know, that was a bad thing, but it's just like, if you're going to let him in, why the hell didn't you let him, you know, be in the tournament? Of course, they're going to go with Mr. Anderson. And no offense with Mr. Anderson. I don't like him and I don't hate him. I just think he's just kind of there. He's one of those guys that just, he doesn't really bother me, but I'm not like a fan of him. He's just kind of there. You know, I'm sure people, you know, have some of those wrestlers where they just don't really care. But, you know, I did feel a little bit bad for when WWE treated him like crap and, you know, gave away his briefcase to Edge, even though Edge is my second favorite of all time wrestler. But still, Anderson, I thought, needed to be treated a little bit better than that. But I don't understand what they're doing with Anderson. He was supposed to leave, and then he was gone for a few weeks. So I was just like, oh, okay, his contract finally ended. He's not re-signing. And then all of a sudden, he just comes back, and now he's winning, and he's gonna almost be back in the title picture again. It's just like, what are they doing with this guy? Like, I don't even understand. Like, I don't even really think he's that great. I'm not trying to be mean. I know, I'm sorry if there's some fans out there, but that's the honest to God truth. I don't really think he's that great. I mean, I do think TNA has used him better than WWE, and that's good, because TNA usually does pick up the people that WWE messed up with. EC3 is a very good example. They completely destroyed him when he was Derek Bateman. They had nothing for him, and look at how great he's doing in TNA. You know, so TNA does do great things for some WWE people, but Mr. Anderson is one of the ones where I was just like, I don't really even care if he gets pushed, because to tell you the truth, he's nothing really special. Yeah, sometimes he's funny and sometimes he's entertaining. He's pretty good on the mic, but other than that, he's just kind of average. I would say he's a mid-carder, a good mid-carder, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Like me and Joe say, like every single week, not everybody can be champion, you know, and there's nothing wrong with it. That doesn't mean that you're a bad wrestler. That doesn't mean, you know, that you suck or anything. It just means that you can't do it. Like, not everybody can get in the big picture, and that's fine. And I think he's one of the guys that I just don't really want to see, even when he's in TNA, you know. I don't really want to see him be TNA champion. It's just, he's just kind of there for me. But Magnus, I'm upset about that. I don't know what they're doing with Magnus. That pisses me off. Abyss versus Samuel Shaw. Samuel Shaw is another guy that they're messing up. I really wanted him to win, and Abyss wins. Nothing against Abyss. I like Abyss. But it's just like, can't we push younger talent? Like, seriously. And, you know, TNA is usually good about this, but it's just, oh, I don't even understand. It's just like they want to make Samuel Shaw look so good, and then now all of a sudden, since he's, you know, kind of a face right now, they don't want to push him. It's just like only when he was crazy, obviously, and now they don't want to push him. It's just ridiculous. And Abyss, I mean, what else can he do? I mean, he's had a few different characters in TNA, and there's nothing wrong with Abyss. I like Abyss, but it's just kind of like I'm getting kind of tired of him. I am. I'm getting kind of tired of him. He's one of the guys that I just kind of want to go away. Kind of like a Kane and Mark Henry and that and Big Show. As much as I like those three, you know, you just need to go away for a little bit. And, I mean, at least they're a little bit better with that, you know, WWE, you know, Mark Henry and Big Show and Kane, they're not really in the title picture. Well, Kane was for like a month or two with Daniel Bryan, but at least they're not really, you know, doing that with them. Obviously, definitely Big Show and Mark Henry. Yeah, they're still having some feuds and stuff, and still have pay-per-views, but they're not like in the main event or anything like that. And Abyss is one of those guys where they're still trying to like push him to the main event, and it's just like for TNA, and it's just like, no, don't do that. And no offense to Abyss, I do like Abyss. It's just, just ridiculous. Okay, so then we have the main event, the tournament match. So they got all 5 winners of all 5 matches, and they put them in the ring together, and obviously only 2 people were in the ring. That's another thing with TNA that I don't understand. It's just like, why can't they all be in the ring? It's just like, I mean, WWE does that. I mean, remember with WrestleMania when AJ fought like, what, 15 other divas? They were all in the ring at the same time. And it's just like, and there's only 5 people in this. It's almost like a fatal 4-way with just 1 extra person. It's just like, so I don't know why. TNA is really weird about that. They don't want to have any more than 2 people in the ring. I don't understand that. It's just bizarre to me. And so obviously they just had 2 people in the ring, and it was Abyss, Aries, Anderson, Tajiri, and MVP. And I was also shocked, again, that Austin Aries won. Yes, he was probably, out of all these guys, I would want him to win the most. But at the same time, isn't he supposed to be not re-signing, and he's supposed to be at an indie show, you know, coming up? And it's just like, I don't even know anymore with TNA what they're doing. I don't know if they just talk to these guys after, like, there's a rumor, like, if, like, one of these rumors, like, pop up on the, you know, website and stuff like that, and then they don't even wait, and then 5 seconds later TNA talks to the guy and gets him to re-sign, and then they don't update it. It's just like, and then I feel like that's what they did with Anderson, unless they're just letting him finish up again this month. Maybe they're just going to have him finish up this year. Maybe they had a rule and stuff like, okay, you don't have to re-sign, but we want you to finish up the rest of this year, and then you can leave in January. Maybe that's what they're doing. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's what they're going to do with Anderson and Aries. If he, you know, if they lose, they can afford to lose Anderson. I'm not trying to be mean, but if they lose Aries, it's not going to be good, because Aries and Bobby Roode are like their top 2 guys right now. And Bobby Lashley, I can see him not being there for very much longer either, especially with him doing MMA stuff. I'm worried for TNA. I mean, it was picking up with them having those great tag team matches with the Wolves, the Hardys, and Team 3D. Those were great matches, except for the last one. The last one was just kind of, I mean, it was good, but it wasn't as good as the first 2. But I don't know. It's just like what TNA is just like, they get up real good and then they just kind of drop the ball again. Like this show last night was nothing special. All it was to pretty much find the new #1 contender, and they spent the whole night doing that. They didn't have any other matches. All it was to find the 5 people in the tournament, and that was it, and then have the match. And the matches weren't even that great either. They were just average matches, and some of them weren't even average. And it's just like, I could see if maybe they were good matches. The main event was okay for that, but other than that, then they had a Spud thing in the background, in the backstage. That's it with EC3. It's just, I guess this was just, this whole show last night was pretty much to find their #1 contender for Bound for Glory. At least I think this is going to be for Bound for Glory, because it wouldn't make sense, you know, because Aries is a great wrestler, and Lashley is, you know, obviously a TNA champion, so obviously it would make sense. And yes, he can pick any title. He can pick the X Division or the tag team, but who would do that? It just wouldn't make sense to me. It's like, if you won that, wouldn't you go for the biggest title? Then I know I would. That's just my opinion. Now maybe I'm crazy. I mean, I could see if maybe he had a tag team partner, if they were like more for the tag team gold. I don't know, but Aries is a single competitor. Unless he really wants to show Samoa Joe who's the best, I guess he could go for the X Division. But for right now, Aries is like the only top guy. I mean, Bram actually would be good too, but the way that them is a heel, and they don't like heel versus heel matches. That's another thing too. If I was booking all these matches for TNA and WWE, if me and Joe were, we would put face versus face matches. We would put heel versus heel matches. We would totally mix it up. You know, it's just like for WWE and TNA, it's just like they always have to have a face versus heel match. They can't have a face versus face or a heel versus heel. When they do, it's very rare. Very rare. Like The Rock versus John Cena, that was rare, and that was like a once in a lifetime. And obviously it wasn't. It was twice in a lifetime. They lied about that, obviously. But it's rare when they do that. And I wasn't even excited about that match anyways, John Cena versus The Rock. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one. But it's just, I don't know. They need to try different things. They really do. That is their problem. TNA has such great talent, but their booking sucks. Their storylines suck. And then WWE, they have some good storylines. They could have some good feuds a lot of times, but their some of their matches and stuff like that, like they have the same matches over and over again. That's a difference with TNA. TNA has different matches every single time. I can't remember when, like, the last time, like with Abyss and Bram, that was one thing where they had like over and over again. But if you haven't noticed, I bet you $50 that they won't have a match again for at least 2 more years. I mean, their matches are always different. I mean, if you don't believe me, just like look at the past like 3 months and just try and find 2 matches of the same, other than obviously Abyss and Bram, because I know they fought a few times. But like seriously, the TNA, it's just like, it's just they both have their strengths and they both have their weaknesses, and it's just like, and that's what's helping WWE more too, because people are more for the entertainment. They're more for the storylines and obviously the booking and the feuds and stuff like that. TNA, great talent, great matches, but storylines really need work. The booking really needs work. I mean, it's a mess. But yeah, I'm probably not the only one that's seen that TNA last night was kind of just, I just didn't like it. Wrestling this past like month has just been blah. Except for obviously Monday Night Raw. That was actually good this week, but it's just like wrestling needs to pick up the pace. And I am a diehard fan, so I'm definitely not going to stop watching. I'm not one of those people, you know, you guys know what I mean. Like one of those people who obviously say, "Oh, this wrestling sucks now, I'm not going to watch it," and then they watch it the next week, and then they just keep complaining about it. I'm not one of those people. I do think that they need obviously just sit down and look at some of the stuff they're doing right now, and obviously just think about it and just book their matches better, book their, storylines better, and just stuff like that. But that's all I got to say about that. Okay, guys. Well, I know this is short, but there's not really much to say. Like I said, there wasn't just a few, obviously, contracts expiring and all that stuff. But and the #1 contender, that's pretty much all that happened. But don't forget to thumbs up this video, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, and like our page on Facebook. I will put all the links in the description. And you have a fabulous night. I will see you in the next one. Bye.